Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be using Stirling Margaritas in the Arctic. I already have it mixed in my Captain's Choice bowl. The brush is going to be a Plisson synthetic. And the razor is going to be a Merkur 34G with an Astra green blade. So I wanted to talk about how much wet shaving has grown over the years with new members, artisans, and how many more options regards like with gear compared to 8 years ago when I started. Because when I started, you really didn't have much to choose from. Starting with razors, your only options were Merkur, Edwin Jagger, and Mula. And for brushes, you basically had you could only choose from Boar or Badger and some horsehair brushes. Because synthetics were pretty much non-existent back then. Because the only two brands that did make synthetics were Edwin Jagger and Mula, but the knots on those were terrible. They were so springy. And I owned one. It was a Mula one. But to get it to splay, you actually had to force the knot, you use a force just to get it to splay. It was that bad. And you were pretty much just paying for the name, not the quality of the brush. And for soaps, again, you just had the big names like Parasso, Cella, Taylor of Old Bond Street. Because again, there was only, I want to say, 5 or 6 artisans at the time. Like Stirling, Razor Rock, I think Mama Bears was around back then. And a company called Cold River Soapworks. I'm not sure if they're still around. And Katie's Bubbles and Mike's Natural Soaps. And they were all still trying to perfect their ingredients. Because it was such a new thing back then for people to make their own soaps. And this this Plisson, when this came out, that pretty much changed the game in terms for the synthetic knots. Because no one had ever experienced something like that soft and really affordable. Because I think the company, I'm probably going to butcher their name. It's called L'Occitane. I'll spell it out like over here. But it's a French company. So when people found out that you could go to their store or their own website to buy these knots, people were basically buying them out. So what people were doing when they're buying out all of their brushes, they were actually selling them secondhand on the shaving groups and forums. But they weren't flipping the price. They were selling it for what it was actually selling for. So that was really nice of them. Because not everyone had one of those stores in their area. And one of the shaving channels that really, I guess, like, made everyone aware of it was Chris Bailey at IMCDB, because his channel was one of the biggest around back then. So once other vendors and artisans like Razor Rock and Stirling, I think they were the first two to find out where the knots were sourced. So they bought some out and then started putting them in their own brush handles and selling them for even cheaper. So it just made it more available for everyone. So it is really awesome that the Plisson brush pretty much set the bar for what synthetic knots should be like today. Because they have gotten a lot better. Because there's different types of synthetic knots now that people can get. And I do think that synthetic knots kind of just dominate compared to animal hair brushes. And it's just crazy how many artisans there are today who make soaps, razors, brushes. And for the soaps and aftershaves, they all have just better ingredients for your skin. Because I didn't know about Gillette razors back then. I didn't know those existed. So when I wanted to upgrade from my Feather Popular, which was just a plastic razor, and I wanted to upgrade it to something that was made of metal. So I was deciding between the Edwin Jagger DE89 and the Merkur 34C. I did buy the Edwin Jagger just because the finish was a little bit shinier, but I ended up giving it away. And then last year I bought the gold version for the Merkur just to try it out, and it is a really awesome razor. For the post shave, I use the Ozma Alum Block, the matching splash, and the unscented glacial balm. For artisan soaps, I forgot to mention, one of the coolest things that they do is make sense out of anything you can imagine. There's pretty much something for everyone. And I think that's probably like one of the biggest attractions for new people, and also people like me who have been around for a while. Alright, I'll see you guys next video. Thank you for watching.